You're so kind. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Redefine the podcast. This is episode 14. We are getting close to being done. We are getting close to the season finale, and I am super, super excited. But today, we are going to focus on what we got going on right now. All season, you have heard me talk of this person. All season, I've talked about how much I love him, how much I don't love him, how awesome he is, how he gets under my skin. I've talked a lot about this man. He is the co-pilot to Redefine the podcast. He does all of my videos. He's a part of my team. So, DeMay, what's up?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to Redefine the podcast.
Oh God, he literally says it like that every time.
Redefining your life, amen.
Okay, so are you going by DeMay or are you going by David?
You just call me Daddy. Just kidding.
I hate you.
You guys can call me whatever you want.
Okay, so I'm gonna call you whatever comes out. I guess just David, because I don't call you DeMay, because that's your groupie name. Like, that's what the groupies call you.
That's my nickname.
Oh, how'd you get that nickname? Because it's DeMay, and we always talk about this. There's no E in your name.
Okay, so when I was in college, we had a lot of shout out to Montana State University. Go Bobcats, go Cats. FTG, y'all know what it is. We had a lot of dudes on our team, and their first names start with a D. There was Demond, D'Angelo, Demola, Double D. There's tons of names. So I was DeMay, David Mayfield, DeMay, and that's kind of how it started. And then, like the artist part, I got a shout out to Rick.
Yes, yeah.
Rick Gatewood. What's good, bro? He gave me the name D Mason. Like, you know, it's not amazing, it's D Mason. So that kind of stuck for a little bit. And then I don't even know what to call the person. He was like my, I guess, like personal artist developer type person. This guy named Ray. And then he had asked me, he's like, hey, are you stuck with it just being DeMay, D-E, or D-M-A-Y? And I'm like, well, what do you ask? He's like, well, what if we throw an E in there? And I'm like, okay.
It looks better.
And yeah. And so it's stuck with me all these years now. We have an E. You know, I like to put the little E in there and then the big M. But yeah, DeMay, what's good?
DeMay, I like that. That's a good, okay. So David and I, DeMay and I have, we have spent a lot of time together in our life. I
just met her.
I was 21 when I met David. Funny story, when I first met David, I could not stand his guts. It was like a Medea movie, and we're at church. He had been coming to church because he went there for a wedding.
Lum got married.
Our friend got married, and and David went to the wedding, and after the wedding, he kept coming back. So this particular Sunday, our pastor says, you know, I think did he ask for somebody to come pray?
What up, PK?
Oh my God, we've talked about him so much.
So I'll tell the story because I like telling stories. So basically what was going on, PK was preaching, and at this time I really didn't know anybody except for
Murphy.
Yeah, it was Murphy and Keena.
Okay.
And then and so and I was, you know, okay, so at the time I think I was sitting by myself in the corner. So normally what would happen when I went to Christ First, I would come in, sit on the left corner. I would sit in like the third row from the back every time. Come in, get out. PK, like I said, he was preaching, and he just stopped and looked around, and he said, "You know what? I think we need to pray right now." He said, "I'm gonna call people up to pray, and when I call you, you move."
You just move. That's his favorite thing.
Yeah.
You need to move.
And so, so I was just sitting there, and I remember he called Murph to pray, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I don't even know if somebody prayed after him or what, but in that moment, for whatever reason, I was crying. I don't know why. And PK looked dead right at me, and he was like, "You want to come up?" And I'm looking at him like, "Who?" He's like, "Nigga, you." He didn't say that in church, but that's
the look. And if you ever meet him, he gives that look. So
yeah. And okay. I said, well, okay. And now, mind you, like, I hadn't been in church in like 12 years. And, my prayer game is not really, it's not what it is now. My prayer game is on, my prayer game
has upgraded.
Yes, yeah. You got to start somewhere, right? And then on top of that, praying in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and it was packed.
Tough in itself. So, I got up there, and I'm just like, standing around, and I closed my eyes, and I just started singing.
It was like a Medea movie, and we're all sitting in this pew. We all sit in the same spot, and I remember my god sisters grabbing my leg and being like, "Girl," looking around at each other, and I'm like, he's so extra. Like, he couldn't even do what Pastor Kenny said. He had to come up here and pray, or he had to come up here and sing, and I thought it was extra. And he's never left Christ First since. He's been there forever.
And haters always gonna hate. I just need to put that out there. Put that energy out there. Oh,
goodness.
They're gonna be even at church. They're gonna be there.
They're gonna be everywhere. I just thought he was so, I was just like, this is so dramatic. This is just so extra. And so he started going there, and there was some time in between where we didn't know each other, just seen each other in passing. And I guess we'll leave that other middle stuff out, but there's just some other stuff that went on during that time. And I don't know how, but all of a sudden he and I became cool. And I actually was dating somebody at the time, and the guy that I was dating was like really shady. And he was like, man, like, he knew that I didn't really deal with David. So he was like, well, I was with such and such, or such and such was at the same place as I was. You could ask him, thinking that I would not ask him. And so I asked David, and he's like, what? I don't know. He didn't know what I was talking about. And I think we became cool after that. Is that how, do you remember?
I thought maybe. I don't remember. I just remember I thought you asked me for some advice.
I did ask for advice as well, because I just thought that you were just amazing. I thought you were amazing, but I didn't really like...
Let's go back to the tape where she just said she couldn't stand me 3 minutes ago.
But at that time we had already started getting to know each other a little bit. Like, I could see who you were.
So look, the only way how we even...
You're friendly, anything, and you're super smiley and just happy and just...
When you guys asked me to sing with the choir.
Okay.
And then that's kind of how, like, I started, because I didn't really like
everybody.
Yeah, I didn't really like deal with people at the church. I just, and then, but yeah, so I got put on the praise team. Hello, praise Jesus.
Oh God. Either way, so we end up becoming cool, and he was just an amazing friend. We hung out. We hung out. I think the one time though, we didn't hang out.
Like, okay, so like,
I guess I'm kind of like fast forwarding because I can't tell them the whole story.
Okay.
I think my car broke down or something, and to get to his house, he had to pass my house or pass his house to get to my house, but he was closest to me, and he offered to take me home. And I think that's when we kind of became friends, and we started hanging out.
She probably be McDonald's for lunch.
I did take him McDonald's for lunch one time, and Mookie hated him.
Mookie, she didn't like me. She was a little dark baby.
And so I have a lot of like really awesome first memories with David. But I guess one of the really funny things about us is I always said that I scooped David. We were at the club, him and a couple of my friends, and I kissed him first. And ever since then, he's just been here.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, I gotta, Brianna, I'm gonna ask fucking Brianna and Talia because I kissed you first, David.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let's present evidence of Exhibit
That's when
A.
they bring my mama and my daddy share.
Listen, it's me, y'all. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And
You'll never admit it. I kissed you first.
It never happened because I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell y'all exactly how it happened. So we were at the club, right? I took him to the club, and then I was singing at the club. I was performing.
Yes, he was. Okay.
Okay. And you know what? I do my things from time to time.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? I can't, let me go ahead and honk my horn. Beep, beep. Okay? Now, she was in the corner. She had a little something to drink. You know what I'm saying? Like a little few somethings. And then I was just singing and she was like, oh my gosh, hey.
David.
Wow.
David
This is
Mayfield.
Incredible. And then I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, yeah.
You were so full of it.
And then, you know what I'm saying, after I got done, I had another drink. And she was just like in the little corner, just kind of doing her own little thing. And I was like, you know what, man, should I do it? I'm like, you got to talk yourself into the game. Like, I said, bro, what you going to do?
So you kissed me inside the club?
Stop. I'm not finished.
Did you kiss me inside the club?
I'm not finished.
Tell me the damn story then.
I'm trying to tell the audience.
Okay, tell the people. Shit. Tell people.
This the real shit. So I was like, you know what, man? Come on, DeMay. And then as Sella says, DeMay gets his. I went over there. I was like, baby girl.
Oh my God, I hate him.
And I had to whisper because it was real loud in the club. So I got real close to her. I said, you know what, baby?
You're fucking full of it.
When I look at you, I see the sun, the stars, and everything in between, baby. I want to be your everything. I want to be your mother, your father, your
bro,
puppy.
my eyes slowed you down completely.
Baby, I want to be your everything. Can
oh my
you
God.
dig it? And then
tell
we just
your
started,
story so we can move on.
And we danced the whole night away.
We did dance.
You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Oh, y'all don't know? 31 flavors. Baskin Robbins. Haagen-Dazs. Look at the flick of the wrist. I scooped her. Easy.
Oh my goodness.
Scoop.
I can't wait to talk to them.
I'm
going to ask Sam
Scooped
too.
It. What else? What else is a scoop?
You never get this story right.
First of all, that's the real deal Happy Meal.
No, it's not.
Yes,
David,
it is.
No. You know what? Anyways, either way, I kissed him first.
No, that's not what happened.
Oh God, he's ridiculous.
I'm gonna tell my truth.
You know what? You do that. You motherfucking do that. Either way, so that was maybe when I was 21, not too long after Tara died. And excuse me, I wonder if they're gonna hear that.
You can edit it.
Okay. And we just kind of evolved after that. David was, I want to say David has been my first, like, adult love. Like, he has been the first adult that I have loved, or adult man, like, in a relationship form that I have loved in the way that I have loved him. So many of you may or may not know, but prior to David, I never wanted kids. It was never something that I ever wanted. And then I got with David and I was like, well, he wants babies.
5.
And he wants 5. And I'm like, I end up getting, we live our life and I get pregnant. And the day that I get pregnant, I'm crying in the bathroom by myself. I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do? And I call David and I'm like, I don't know, but the test says that I'm pregnant. And he's like, what? Really? And I'm like, yeah. What are we going to do? He's like, we're going to have a baby. And I remember being like, okay. And I hung up with him and I cried more in the bathroom for a really long time because I was like, I don't want a baby. Like, what the fuck? And now we have this awesome, amazing human being that is a fiber copy of her father.
It's my baby.
Danny Marie. So what do you, so when I told you that I was pregnant, what do you, like, do you remember what you thought? Do you remember what you felt?
Yeah, I was excited.
You wanted a baby?
Yeah. Well, yeah, eventually I was wanting a baby, but I wasn't like, oh shit, we're about to have a baby. I was like, oh shit, we about to have a baby.
That was I think that was one of the scariest times.
I wasn't scared.
You weren't scared, but I was scared, and I hated David while I was pregnant. I didn't hate him every day.
She was mad at me because I was skinny.
I hated him because I was pregnant in the summer. He was fucking skinny.
And her nose was big.
Shut up, Destiny Jr. My nose grew so big, and I was so big, and David was skinny, and I felt like it was just super hot that summer. And
Kicked everybody out the house.
I kicked everyone.
That was loud. I talked really loud, but she kicked everybody out the house. All the roommates, they had to go.
Except Alex. And Alex would hide from me because he's like, she's crazy. I was just really, but you were such an awesome person during pregnancy. Like you did a good job. Have I ever told you that?
No, she's never told me that, ladies and gentlemen, but I'll go ahead and pat myself on the back.
You did, you did an awesome job. You didn't rub my back every time like I asked you, but you did rub it a couple of times every time that every so often.
Her feet were swollen.
My feet were swollen. There was one time I had a bad dream about David, and when I was pregnant, and I woke up and I was so angry, and I hit him in the head with the pillow.
She hit me in the head in my sleep.
He was knocked out, and then the next day he came home and he brought me shoes. And then I started crying because I was like, oh my God, I beat you up with the pillow last night. I'm so sorry. He didn't even know.
That's some bullshit. So look, let me tell you about this psycho pregnant woman. So look, she had a craving for mango madness from Snapple, right? Now, she said she wants some mango Snapple. All right.
Oh my God, it's like 9 o'clock at night.
I'm like, cool. I'm going to go get some. And we are driving. And so we went to the store. They didn't have no mango madness. So I had to get the Arizona mango drink, the tall cans. And I just want to let everybody, just a disclaimer, fellas, if your lady is pregnant and she's asking for something specifically, just do that. Save yourself the headache or the waste of money or the backlash that you're gonna get. Because when I came in, I had 2. Now I'm thinking like, okay, well, I can't get the mango madness, but I got 2 cans of mango Arizona. I'm like, this should be cool. It'll hold her over. So I came in, I'm like, hey, they didn't have the mango madness, but I got this. And she just looked at me. Oh. And she looked through my soul.
I hated him.
And she didn't even say anything. Her nose, her big nostrils, they just flared, and then just a little steam just came out. Just.
And he's like, "Oh, we can go look for another one."
Like, you know what? I got these for me. I was just kidding. We're gonna go get you some mango madness, okay? Just the voice, the bass in my voice, just
everything was gone.
It just went out. And I was like, I'm not no sucker. Now,
yeah, that's true. You're not.
But in that very moment, I was just like,
She might kill me.
If she had a knife, she probably like.
I remember being so upset.
She was very mad.
Yeah.
I had to turn on the air conditioner because she was hot. That's how hot. You get it?
So mad.
She was steaming.
Stupid. We had a ton. I was very sick during my pregnancy. I threw up every single day. I lost 21 pounds. It was intense. Danny was intense. Danny's still intense.
Danny's fantastic. I love Danny.
She's fantastic, but she's a lot of kid.
I love Danny the way she is.
David was a lot of kid. And his mother always tells stories about David being a lot of kid.
We're not gonna talk about my mama, but my mama, she telling the stories.
Oh my goodness. So, anyways, let's get into this. And you guys, you know, it was super interesting today. I dropped the photo of David's episode art, and I got 20 messages, 20 on my personal page, 4 on my Redefine the Podcast page. Everybody's hyped because they're like, they want another tea. So let me say, y'all nosy. Y'all been waiting on this, but
mind y'all damn business. Oh, hold up.
What?
Mind your business or create one. Hello, I got that one from Classic. MC Classic, what's good?
Oh. So, we're gonna be transparent, but we are gonna keep some things personal and private because we have a family. And so we're gonna try to find a balance in between that. David and I have been together we're together for since 2013, would you say? 2013. And drum roll please.
You said what?
We got together in 2013. So I was like 21, 22. And for the question that always gets asked all the time, we separated. He broke up with me. September 3rd, 2018. I think that's what it was. Do you remember what year it was?
I thought it was the year before. 2017?
Yeah, it could have been 2017. September 3rd, 2017. And
I don't know the date.
Michaela, was it 2017 or 2018?
It was 18.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go not wash the dishes now.
No, that's fine.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay, good night. So he broke up with me 2018, September 3rd. And for me, that was, you know,
was it September 3rd?
It was.
I thought it was a holiday weekend.
It was. We were going to Lawana's house for her birthday. Yeah. It was, to me, when we broke up, that was, besides, what could I compare it to? When Tara passed away, I thought like I was gonna die. And when David broke up with me, it literally took my soul. And not because, you know, I'm not sure. I think different reasons. I think because I put a lot of like emphasis of like David, my family, and because I wasn't really taking care of myself, that he became my world. So when he said like, I don't want to do this anymore, it was like life shattering. And it happened because we had an argument. He left, I think, his phone or his watch or something in the bathroom, and I was taking his stuff to him, and then I started seeing things on his watch or whatever, and that kind of was like the breaking point of, not even the breaking point, but it's what made us have this really tough conversation that he was kind of struggling with having, because realistically, who wants to have that conversation? So how do you feel? Okay, so going back to that day, what do you remember, or what do you think, or what do you?
I was just tired.
Yeah.
I think that I waited too long.
Yeah, I think so.
Being in the situation that we're in currently, yeah, I feel like I should have done it like when Danny was like 2 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, when she was 2.
What do
Yeah.
you mean?
That's when we went on a break the first time.
Yeah. So I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of underlying things.
Yeah.
What?
Underlining things.
Yes, that just, it added on to, I guess, the already stress that I was dealing with. And then just like my own internal things that, you know, I'm a very
You hold everything in.
Yeah. Is that considered private? Or like what?
No. I don't think that like you're private.
I think okay. I know how I want to put it. I let people in. It's like a maybe like a control thing where I only let people in on certain things. But yeah, I was dealing with a lot. When did I find my mom?
All that took place at the same time.
Oh yeah, so there was a lot going on.
Backtrack. David is adopted, and we spent maybe a year, a little bit over a year in that time of before we broke up, during the breakup, looking for his mom, and he had a close adoption. So if you don't know, close adoption means when he was given up, there was no information, right? Is that correct? There's no information passed down.
Closed adoption. There's no information left to find, the original parents, or anything like that.
Parents, yeah.
The biological parents. The only way to do that was to petition, to I think is the Supreme Court in Sacramento. And
there's a whole process. They have to contact the original parent or the biological parents and
then to get like the documents released of my birth certificate. So even till this day, I do not have my original birth certificate. And it could take 6 to 8 months, or it could take years for it to happen. And so I just never really had the urge. At that, when I was younger, I didn't really.
You didn't really need to search.
I didn't really care to do it at all.
You know what I think? I think when we were pregnant with Danny, I felt like that's when I personally started seeing your wheels turn on, like finding your biological family. Because there was if you've been pregnant, that there's a lot of questions they ask about the mother. But there's a ton of questions they ask about the father. And I remember asking David stuff, or maybe not even asking him, just telling the doctors, well, I don't know my partner's, like, his mother's history because he's adopted. And I feel like I kind of feel like that's when your wheels started turning for that. Mm-hmm. And seeing someone that looks like you. Danny was the first person, right?
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible.
So when we broke up that day, it was very tough day.
Okay. So before we go to that.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember. So there was a point where we stopped being intimate for like
a year,
maybe a year and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's where I just started.
Did you deal with other women?
Probably.
You know what's interesting? And I know you guys are gonna be like, "This is fucking crazy," because we can sit and talk about this. And how did you not, like, the question I always get was, how did you not know? Like, how did you not know? And when I say it could have been covering, it could have been God knew that I wouldn't have been able to handle it. When I say that I wholeheartedly trusted David, it was just that. David could have told me that he was in Timbuktu, selling fur coats, and I would have believed him, because I just felt like if there was anybody in my life, this man is not going to do anything. So I never questioned, I never looked. I just believed him. And because I think I turned a blind eye to things, there was infidelity, and there was that. That was tough.
Well, yeah. So like, okay, so to I'm gonna say shed light, but like to just add on to that, like so like what I was dealing with at that moment or in that space where I was
Which
just
is not an excuse. Not saying that like this is real. Like I don't even think of it as an excuse. I believe like this is real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like this shit is real. Like I get it.
So I had already mentally checked out of this relationship because I just was not happy. Um, a lot of it had to do with me, and then a lot of it had to do with the weight that I felt I was carrying when it came to you, and then Danny, and then eventually, because Mookie was already here.
She wasn't completely here, but yes, yeah.
In 2000 and
yeah, because she moved in 2018. Oh yeah, so she was here.
So she was here. So basically, kind of the backstory. You know, you guys heard it in the earlier episodes with Michaela. You know, her parents, they kind of just made a decision amongst themselves that they were gonna up and leave and move to Belize. And so that left, you know, well, with Deanna the responsibility, and because I was
You're my partner,
Deanna's partner, then of course I'm gonna take care of Michaela, and you know, without a doubt, there was.
and you love her.
Right. That's my little baby. She don't even know it either. But yeah, so you know, and so that's like, it was hard enough knowing that okay, I have Danny Marie that, you know, I ended up okay, and I have to go back. So even with that, you know, when I found out Danny Marie was gonna be born, you know, I switched my job career, and got into working for the post office, you know, just to have something stable and secure. But just the new addition, and just not even like knowing what the first step is to take care of a teenager. We just, you know, she just kind of got dropped in our lap. And, you know, I don't know if you guys know, teenagers are they're crazy.
They're insane.
They're
the hardest things ever.
Yes.
They are the hardest things. I think that during that time we were both in like, I was in autopilot, and I'm just like, let me just take care of the house, let me do this, let me do that. And I want to say, I believe that we both have a part in, like, at that time, the demise of the relationship. He was clocked out, but I was in so much of an autopilot that I didn't even realize he was clocked out, because there's so many other factors going on. And I feel like by the time that I started asking, hey, are you okay? Because he kind of got mean. He kind of like when he said he clocked out, it's not pretend. He was completely out. He was here physically, but he was completely out. And I just remember being very lonely and starting to ask him questions. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck? Something's wrong. Something happened. But by the time I started asking him questions, he now has the weight of finding your biological family. And so that became backseat, and it was just, that time period was intense.
Yeah. Also too, so now, like, as far as you and I go, I felt like you said the word complacent.
Yes.
I felt that you were very complacent.
Yeah.
That's a turnoff.
Yeah.
Because when I met you, you know, you were working 4 jobs, you were, you know, you were doing this, you were doing that.
Yeah.
And you know, you had a lot going on for yourself. And I'm like, okay, she hustles.
Yeah.
And so, and I understand, like, because things change when babies come.
Yeah.
But then, like, Danny was like around 2 years old, and then I'm like trying to see, like, okay, so what's going to be the next move? Or, you know, just, and I think that, you know, maybe you might have been too comfortable. I cannot You know, because I don't know what you're thinking at the time.
I think at the time,
or scared, or whatever the case.
My anxiety. I believe that I had postpartum, and I believe that my anxiety. I used to be very scared to leave Danny. I don't know if it would even be postpartum, but I know it was anxiety where, I just didn't want to leave her, and I was just so scared, and it almost like it just stopped my movement. And I did become very complacent. I only became about her. And if she was good, I was good. And because I was not thinking of anything else besides Danny, there was so many other things that I let go of. I let go of myself. I also played a hand in letting go of the relationship. There was a lot of different things, which is why now I think when I say that I don't want another child, people laugh like, oh my God, yeah, you're gonna have another baby. And I'm like, no, never want another kid, because of the fear of that, of like forgetting who Deanna is. Now, I don't think I would do that, but that's a really big fear. That's huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also too, like, being checked out and then not having nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's times where I'll sit in my car for hours, and because I just want to be by myself.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, that was hard in itself. And it's like, also too, it's like, okay, so
why do you think we didn't communicate though? Like, why do you think? Because now we can talk. Like, now I feel like even if you're being an asshole, we can have a conversation.
Okay. So in that moment back then, you're hella sensitive about everything. And you would jump on me for things that were made up, create stories.
I created a narrative.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, like, you would think that, you know, you would say something about your weight, and I would never tell you that you look, however, you know what I'm saying? Like, men, here's another sidebar, men's conference, do not, if the woman asks you about her weight, lie. Lie.
But David, even you didn't tell me, you didn't say anything negative. You never complimented me. You started, David, when you, maybe, and it's because you were clocked out, but there was a point where you never told me I was beautiful. You never held my hand. You never looked at me in my eyes anymore. Like, you never, like, you, I think I was super, so I was just like looking for your, like, but you were clocked out, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I was looking for you to, like,
to give you your self-confidence.
I was looking for you to be my partner. I feel like in any relationship, you've never woken up in the morning, no matter what has happened, and I didn't say something that was, I purposely, every day, I pour into you. I don't care if we're not together. You're important to me. So every day I say, you know what, I appreciate you. You're working these 12 hours. I fucking appreciate that. Thank you for doing this. I try to buy little things. When you come home, I want to make sure you have dinner. I pour. And at some point, I was just pouring into you, and you didn't say nothing to me. You wouldn't say thank you if I, like, nothing.
Well, it's because I didn't care.
Yeah, but that's that's a bad thing too, because you didn't even care that I was you didn't even think, like, as my daughter's mother, like, you, like, or your friend, like, you acted like I was like a bitch off the street.
No, it's a narrative.
No, David.
It's just because you didn't get the reciprocation that you wanted.
That's true.
And so you feel some type of way, which is you're entitled to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in my defense, or in my, you know, everybody has their own needs.
Yeah.
and you weren't even the issue. The issue is with me.
Deeper inside. I believe that.
I feel like men kind of go through, and you know, and I can't even, I only can speak about myself, but you know, there's times where I'm not happy with myself, where I'm at, what I'm doing, like, and you know, I feel like everybody goes through it, and because I was never properly taught how to handle certain things. So like growing up, I always used to fight, and when I used to get in trouble, I used to get whooped, and
there's no communication
and
on why this was happening. And
well, I mean, I know because I was being bad, so that's
but
it.
You don't deal with Danny like that.
No, well, no.
You. I mean, I don't even think if we had a son, you would deal with our son that way. You to a T. One of the greatest things about David, one of the greatest things that he does, as far as a parent, is he explains to Danny. Where I'll be like, "Girl, don't do it," because I said don't do that shit. Like, stop. And he'll be like, "Hey, baby bear, what did I say?" And then he'll say it again, and then he explains like, "You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get this, and if you don't, and if you do this, this will happen." And I feel like, did you have that as a child?
No. I think that, so like as far as my mom, she wasn't really hands-on. It was mostly my dad. And my dad, he is self-taught lesson, you know.
Yeah.
You know, all right.
You do that too.
Do it. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I do it to an extent. Yeah, it's a life lesson. Like, you know, my dad, you know, he let me fall. He let me get hurt. He let me get scratches. He let me, you know, and just so that I know for myself, you know, because people can tell you, you know, don't touch the stove 100 times, but it, you know,
you learn after you touch that motherfucker.
Exactly. And it's like, so I love to explain things to Danny just because right now she's a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very important that she understands also too, I do it from a place of love.
Yeah.
And you know, whether I'm reprimanding her or praising her.
Yeah.
I always tell her I love her. I love her. Yeah. Baby bear.
I don't love you.
No. I don't like you right now. I say, well, okay, that's fine, but you have to love me because I'm your daddy. And so I just think it's important. Like a lot of the stuff I think that I do with Danny now is based off of what like my mom didn't do.
So what you needed as a child.
But you know, as a kid, you don't know what you need.
No, but now, because hindsight is 20/20. Now you know this is what I needed. Right. And now you pour that into Danny. I think that's one of the best things that you do. And I think even when you do it with Michaela,
she don't like it.
She doesn't like Michaela, but Michaela doesn't like correction. But you don't like correction. Yeah, you don't like correction. Like, I'll take it, but I'll still be like, fuck you. But I'm going to listen. But David and Michaela don't do well with being corrected. Well, nor does Danny.
Well, okay, so now I feel like because of how Michaela was raised, like the difference of like discipline, you know, I think that like, you know, your parents they're just free.
My parents are, but yeah, they're very free.
And so, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different way of teaching. And so my dad, he was a military guy as well. And so he's always stern and, you know, and whatever, but you know, like, and so I have that piece of him inside, but then I have like the compassion and
the softness of you as well.
My dad he's a big softy too.
Right.
You know, but yeah.
What do you think your biggest lesson has been in the 10 years that we've been around each other?
The biggest lesson?
Yeah. Like when it's came to us.
One thing I think that I appreciate is that you've always been genuine, regardless of the situation, you know, good, bad, and indifferent, that you've always been steady. I have, maybe a complex, but like with women that I've dealt with, even like with my mom, and I think that's where it stems from. And like, oh my gosh.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Do you think that the struggles you have in relationships, not just us, in any relationship that you've had, do you think that that is a root from?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a direct correlation.
Okay.
If
you didn't know what I was going to say, I was asking him basically if he thought that the struggles that he has stemmed from his relationship with his mom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a direct correlation. I don't even know how much time we have, but that would be like a whole nother episode as far as like my relationship with my mother who raised me. And there's like a lot of crazy things and trauma-filled things that I've dealt with that I can literally break it down, the timeline, chronological order from when I was in 5th grade until
yesterday,
a month ago.
Right.
Literally something happened a month ago that just blew my mind. And it's like, it just doesn't make sense. Like the treatment and, I don't want to say unfairness, but it's like, and so, because of the detriment that it's had on my spirit, like, and it's crazy because a lot of you guys will never know that, that I've had any type of issues. I'm always smiling, happy for the most part.
Right.
And you know what? I just love people. And I think that because of the way I was brought up with my mom shows me, okay, this is not what I want. And I don't want anybody who ever has dealt with me, whether it's friendship, relationship, I don't want them to ever second guess that I did not love them or care about them with my encounter. I think it's very important, even like, even in high school, even if I didn't know people's names and they would talk to me, or, I would go out my way and say hello.
Do you think that you are because you like didn't have like a certain relationship with your family, that you were just, I don't say overextending yourself, because you're just friendly, it's not overextending yourself, but do you think you found that in other things, like you were super friendly here because like you're getting a lot of love from these people, and so did you realize like, hey, if I'm super nice to these people and I'm super this and I'm super that, they're gonna love me?
Well, no, you know what? No, because I think I'm just
a
friendly.
Okay.
I think that I definitely connect to people, children as well. And I just think it's important to always, leave your legacy, even if it's for 5 minutes, with, a stranger, somebody you love, somebody you first, whatever it is, to always be able to leave your legacy with that person. So, because you never know, like, down the road, you never know know what it could lead to. And not saying that that's the reason why you're doing it, but just if you're a person, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with just being friendly. And I feel like people are so standoffish sometimes. I remember this girl that I dated, one of my old friends. They had a conversation about my friendliness, and they both thought it was weird.
So David has always been very friendly, and I have a podcast. I love to talk and to deal with people. And so, one of the things that people would always comment on is he talks to everybody. Are you uncomfortable with this man moving around the room? And it never bothered me because I knew that was him. And it made him happy. Like, he genuinely likes to interact with people. So it didn't bother me. Now, of course, there's some times where I'm like, all right, motherfucker, reel it in, because she's smiling too hard. But David's just a friendly person.
It's because I'm cute, yo.
Oh my God. You're ugly, nigga. You're ugly. Okay, so we're off track. So your biggest lesson.
We're going to do part 2.
We're going to have to, because we're at All right,
You
so
talk too much.
it's you, man.
It's a lot to unpack, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
All right, so biggest lesson. I guess we can kind of start heading off to.
Yeah. So the biggest lesson is that you can. Ooh. This is like a checkmate to me. Holy moly. So what I was about to say is that even if you're hurt, you can still love a person genuinely.
That's true.
And
I've taught you that.
uh
Is that what you're saying? Because I asked you the biggest lesson between us. I fucking should have taught you that because I know.
she's trying to get some kudos right now.
I'm nigga.
Can I just talk?
Tell your story, players. Tell your
I just
story.
want to talk. Yeah, so it's one thing that I've, nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my good outweighs my bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my shortcomings do not define who I am as a man. And I live in that. And, I want to say it's weird, but some people don't understand that, okay, if I mess up or if I've done something, I don't have a problem acknowledging it, but once I've acknowledged it, then I feel like it's either time to move on or time to figure out, okay, what's next. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I just went off subject.
It's okay.
But yeah, trying to hold things over people's heads, and wow, I'm fucking preaching to myself. We're gonna have a part 2. We're gonna talk about my mothers.
Oh no, Lord, don't put me in it. My mama Ray don't talk to me.
So listen,
David.
Yeah, part 2 we're gonna talk about my mothers. But anyways, so I feel like regardless of where you and I are at, I feel like I know that you'll always have my back regardless of what's the next move.
Doesn't matter.
So whether I'm here, whether I'm moved out into wherever I move, or whatever the case may be, we whatever. I feel like at the end of the day, we both have a common ground and understanding that one, Danny and Michaela are the most important things to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that we have to make sure that we work together in order to give them the best upbringing possible.
Break these generational curses.
Right. And then, and just show them that they're loved. I feel like, with Michaela's whole situation, and you guys have listened to what episode that is it?
Man, I don't know.
Listen to Michaela's episode.
Right.
And there's so many things that she's unpacking right now as a teenager. And it's already hard enough. She's a teenager.
Yeah.
And then there's
all this
other stuff. And guess what? We get to be there front row, and we get to go through it with her. And so just the unconditional love, regardless of what has happened. I think that's what you've shown me. You've always been, you've just been solid, and I'm not even mad. I can't even be mad. You know what I'm saying? It's it's like a lot of the trend is a lot of niggas talk shit about their baby mamas, man. And I'm like, I'll be like, she's all right, man. Mine's all right. Mine's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, she talk a lot.
Yeah, I do.
But what I'm saying? I'm like, she all right. She cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like I'm a great baby mama, nigga.
And so, I just think and with that trend of having tumultuous relationships with your baby mama,
one of the biggest things, I think people have a hard time with David and I understanding is, I don't hold any resentment towards David. I feel like everything that has happened, good, bad, or indifferent, have been life lessons and have taught me something. And I believe that I don't want to live in a hostile environment. I don't want to create a hostile environment for my kids. I don't want them to remember that. We have, besides the things that Michaela has gone through, our kids are very happy kids. David and I could be at the lowest of the low, and our kids, we still somehow figure it out for these fucking kids. And that's important to me. And I think that that's like, people don't understand it. They're like, girl, like you could be, and I'm like, nah, but that's not, the bigger picture is family. And I feel like we can still be a family and not have to be in a relationship. And that's okay. It's just a different form of family. What has been the biggest lesson you've taught me? What do you think?
I think that I've forced you to get off of your ass.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. And you're doing shit for you.
Yeah.
That's all
I think the biggest lesson David has taught me is, I think that I would use that one in the moments of things where our relationship has hit a low. I was not prepared. So when we separated, I didn't have anything. And I remember being so sad, like having like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go back to my mom's. I don't have anything. And I knew that David would still help and provide and whatever. But I personally, as Deanna, did not have anything. And that drove me crazy. And so when we separated that time, I went back to school and I got my AA. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I got my AA, and then I started to work at the school district. And then I started to make like a mark, an imprint at the school district, so they knew who I was. And every time like it started to put me up in different places in my job, in my career, whatever. And then we separated this last time. And when that happened, I was like, oh shit, like this shit is real. And so I never stopped going to school. I started working more, getting a better job. And then here I am now, like doing this podcast stuff that happens to be doing really well.
Yeah, I wasn't. So look, she said she was going to do the podcast. And I said, okay. And I didn't say nothing about it until she was ready to do it. And then when she was ready to do it, we was ready.
We was on board.
And we almost started too early because some other podcasts had started early before us. But guess what? We waited and...
waited till God said so. Yeah. So I think one of the biggest lessons is David was a tool in definitely showing me I got to get up and I got to move and I got to make it. And I got to make it on my own. And I want to be able to, one of the biggest things, and I say it all the time now, he's always like, you want to be a Renaissance woman. I want to simply be able to provide a lifestyle that I want for myself. David has done a great job as providing for me and my kids. And I like being kept. But there hasn't been a better feeling than doing my shit on my own.
Yeah. That and I want to piggyback off of one thing that I stand by is that, like, even when you're crying or when you're hurt or when something's happening, you still have to go to work. You still have to
get up and go.
You know what I'm saying? And crying never solved anything. And it's okay to be sad or whatever the case may be, but you still you still have to work. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be stuck in the same spot at all.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that he's taught me. I just kept working. I knew that I wanted to do something, and I kept going. And I always tell him, like, I'm going to buy my own house. Like, I'm going to buy a house by myself. And not that he can't come or my kids can't come, but it's something that I want to do on my own. And I think one thing that he has taught me through life lessons is I gotta do this shit on my own. And it doesn't take away from, like, the fact of, like, because some people are like, oh, what are you saying? You don't need a man? Well, no. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that I want to be independent. And I think David has been a good reminder of, I need to do that. I need to be able to have a footing for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done that. I think that's good.
I think we're gonna do three episodes. I might have to talk about both moms on separate.
Oh my God, I can't stand you.
Yeah.
I can't stand you. What else? Anything else for this one? Let's leave it off in a good place. What? Okay, I have a question.
I pooed it.
You're disgusting. Oh my God, he always poots. Okay, you ready?
No.
Or you can leave it off, or I can leave it off. But
What?
okay, so we're gonna leave it here.
Okay.
We got 2 minutes. When I start talking to friend, oh girl, well, all that stuff started happening. What was going through your mind at that time?